Welcome to Game Center USX. Today we're looking at Stories, the Path of Destinies. Stories is a narrative-driven game, but I'm in the mindset of a Nero-loving action boy these days, baby, and mainly looking at the game's combat. The heart of the game is navigating different story paths by way of branching choices. Each playthrough can be completed in around an hour, and when you get to an ending, it sends you back to the start to explore different paths, or destinies, if you will. Between the bread of story decisions, there's the lettuce of traversal, a thin tomato slice of puzzles, and the meat of Arkham Creed-like combat. I use that term with some derision. I get the combat of Arkham Asylum and Assassin's Creed, it's just not my bag. The attack button moves you towards enemies. There's an easy countering system that involves hitting the same attack button while having the stick pointed in the direction of an attacking enemy with an indicator popping over their head and a wrinkle or two tossed in. So a tad simple. The enemies are simple as well. There's the basic bird goons. They're pretty harmless unless they attack you right next to each other and you get caught up in the counter on one and get hit by the other. There's the shield guy. You neutralize their defense by throwing other enemies into them, but you can unlock other options to get through the shields, like upgrading the grappling hook to pull away their shields, or equipping a certain gem that lets you attack through the shields. There's the attack mage, whose attacks need to be evaded, and adds another layer to enemy prioritization. And there's the buff mage. They buff the enemies, but they don't make any tangible difference as you just mash through the hordes. And then there's the suicide bomber, who blows up a bit after they get attacked. They make the biggest impact on the rhythm of combat and become the biggest threat when you unlock certain skills that further automates the Arkham Creed combat. Again, narrative is the game's focus. The gameplay progression to keep you on the hook seems limited. There are 4 swords to unlock with only 1 upgrade for each, and there are sockets for gems to modify your characteristics, your stats. The swords get more utility as glorified keys, with each color unlocking different doors. The stats and the sword abilities don't make vital changes to combat. The Game Changer gem is the one that lets you break enemy shields with normal attacks. It neutralizes the need for grabbing and throwing enemies, and it makes the skill to tear away shields with the grappling hook a waste of a skill point. There's no reason to not have that gem equipped because it's too useful an option. Gameplay options are nice, but it's not really an option when one tool is clearly more practical than the others. Unless you're a masochist who likes having unnecessary steps to processes. Thwacking away with a single button gets the job done too well, which diminishes the impact of other options, which is weird in a game that hinges on a narrative about choice. For gameplay progression, there is also a skill tree that significantly impacts gameplay, as touched upon earlier. The movement speed upgrade is a time saver when you're running through multiple playthroughs of a game. But like the gem situation, there is one tree better than the others. The combat tree is essential for efficiency. If a game gives me the choice to have the ability to wreck enemies, of course I'm going with that. When leveled up, this skill tree has your attacks zipping you around the battlefield. So using the grappling hook for spacing is completely thrown out the window, and it reduces the need of the dodge button when your attack can zip you across the battlefield to another enemy and out of the way of an attack. And the final tier of the combat tree has you eventually one-shotting enemies when your combo counter is high enough, which isn't hard to do. This all paired with the shield-breaking gem, combat becomes a total mash fest. That much mashing mindlessness weakens the player's mental engagement with the combat. But it works for the game as a whole. Again, narrative is at the heart. It's satisfying seeing the main character get that powerful. It reflects the character's gained experience and strength from running through the timeline a couple times. And having the combat take on that pace as you play makes going through environments you've been through many times before, fighting the same 5 enemies over and over again, go by smoother as you work towards the true ending, which can be unlocked in around 6 hours. Some may balk at the game's length, but it lasted the perfect amount of time and ended before everything overstayed its welcome. And if you're into it more than me, the game has a lot more mileage if you want to unlock all the stories. Action-wise, I wasn't blown away, but it's something serviceable while you're getting invested into the intriguing premise, the exploration of storylines, the characters, and the art direction. I enjoyed getting to different endings, gathering new information to get through this Groundhog's Day, and wanted to keep playing to get that best possible outcome for these characters, to get that feel-good ending. I enjoyed my nights spent with Story's Path of Destinies, and I'm definitely getting Spearhead Games' latest release, Omensight, which looks to be a spiritual successor with different stuff going on.
The day begins anew.